my beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be watching together in Arise TV, where the CJN appoints 19 of 23 members in the National Judicial Council. Yes, so Mr. Charles of Arise TV will be interviewing with Mr. Senate Sola Akinyede. Yes, so guys, let's just watch, listen to what they have to say. Please, if you have any opinion or any thought, please drop it in the comment section. Just let's communicate together. Yes, my people, drop your opinion on what you think about this video that we are going to be watching together. I don't know. Anyway, let's just watch, then I will come back and talk my own opinion, what I felt about all these appointed, sacking appointed. Anyway, let's watch together.
Adequate, a point that's been made emphatically by both lawmakers and members of the legal profession. Well, one former lawmaker, Senator Sola Akinyede, has gone further, crafting a proposed bill that he believes will set the judiciary on the road to root and branch reforms, making the justice system more functional, less prone to allegations of corruption, and the foundation stone of Nigeria's development. And the place to begin, he says, is the Federal Judicial Service Commission and the National Judicial Council, targeting the substantial powers the Chief Justice of Nigeria wields over both. Failure to do so, he warns, would have real-world consequences. So, as yet another voice adds its weight to the chorus of calls for fundamental judicial reforms, is it time to stop tinkering around the edges? With more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the lawyer, former lawmaker, and former member of the Nigerian Constituent Assembly, Senator Sola Akinyede. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you, Charles.
And I was very interested to note that you were a member of the Constituent Assembly in 1988.
Yes, and also a member of the National Political Reforms Conference, 2006.
It kind of reminds me of a certain chairman who presided over that.
It's your father.
No. Well, yes, you could make that argument. But let's start from the broader context before we narrow things down to the specifics of the bill that you proposed. You are one of those who's been quite vocal about the absolute need for judicial reforms in Nigeria. Tell us why.
Well, as a young lawyer, I remember when I finished studying law in England, and my father wanted me to do a PhD. I said no. I had done a master's. I wanted to come back to Nigeria because I knew there were a lot of opportunities. He was a lawyer, and I joined him. Joined him in his practice. But by the time my son graduated from the UK also, in 2006, he came here. I forced him to come here to do his youth corps. He did. But when he got here, he said, no, there's no way I'm going to practice here. He's back in the UK. So when I was a student in England, the first time I heard of Justice Udo Udoma, I knew about him because his son, we were classmates in King's College. But the first time I read his judgment was in a British university. His judgment was cited in the British textbooks. So that shows the extent of the international regard that Nigerian jurists had. Today, you can't say that. And I remember when Justice Datijo Muhammad was making his valedictory statement, he alluded to that. The kind of decisions that the courts make, including, the Supreme Court. Imo governorship election 2020. I mean, it's a decision that nobody can explain. And there's so many other decisions like that. Some of the decisions in respect of the primaries in 2023. So many other decisions like the Kano Emirate cases. A person who has been a lawyer for just 2 years knows that the Federal High Court has no jurisdiction in respect of chieftaincy matters. But the case went on. The chief judge of the Federal High Court knows that. The judge to whom the case was assigned knows that. The senior advocate of Nigeria filing the case knows that. But this case went on. There's no serious country in the world where that happens. If you file a case meant for the family division in the UK, in the Chancery, the judge in the family division will automatically transfer the case to the correct division. But in Nigeria, the elite, the judiciary has allowed the elite, has enabled the elite to abuse the judicial process, so that a case that has nothing to do with River State, where the events occurred in Lagos or Jos, will be filed in Port Harcourt, and then it will be filed in a court that has no jurisdiction at the Federal High Court. It has total abuse, and that is a self-inflicted wound by the judiciary. So those are the things that you see. Then the other issue is the case of senior justices or senior judicial officers enabling or setting up their children in the judiciary. 30, 40 years ago, that didn't happen. These same justices or senior judicial officers who are now putting in their children and their relatives, when they were practicing, if the justices were like them, they would not have become senior justices. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Indeed.
So it's an abuse of the process. And the reason why this abuse is taking place is because of the structure of the two judicial bodies, the Federal Judicial Service Commission and also the National Judicial Council. Now, the Federal Judicial Service Commission is headed by the Chief Justice of Nigeria. The duty or functions of that body is to shortlist candidates for judicial positions and advise the NJC. The NJC is also headed by the Chief Justice of Nigeria. So you have a situation whereby the Chief Justice of Nigeria goes to the Federal Judicial Service Commission, and then he shortlists candidates for judicial positions, and then after he has shortlisted those candidates, he takes that list himself back to the NJC and decides who to appoint and present to the president. That is what is happening. That is why senior judges are slaughtering their children. I mean, in the FCT Federal High Court, 8 out of 12 judges appointed were the children or relatives of senior judicial officers or ex-judicial officers. That is a statistical improbability.
Yeah, and one of the key reforms that you propose is one that seeks to substantially whittle down the powers of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, powers which you and many other lawyers and key players in the justice sector say are simply too enormous.
Absolutely. I mean, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, there are 23 members in the National Judicial Council. The Chief Justice of Nigeria appoints 19 out of 23 members.
That's extraordinary.
It is. Then there are, out of those 23 members, 88%, that's almost 90%, are judicial or ex-judicial officers. So when the Chief Justice of Nigeria, who has appointed almost more than about 82% of the members, including the non-lawyers, including members of the Nigerian Bar Association, he appoints all of them. Who will have the guts when he brings the name of his son or his daughter to challenge the CJN? So that is why it is important that the NJC should be reconstituted.
And that's what your bill, the bill that you propose, that's what it's substantially about.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, this bill was sent to the, of course, I left the Senate in 2011.
Yes.
So therefore, I no longer have the...
But your bill was written a year ago.
Yeah, it was. June. I sent it in June. Although when I was in the Senate, I had made some proposals in 2010 along those lines. But I think nobody took them seriously because obviously things were not as bad as they were 14 years ago. So I hope this time around people will take these proposals seriously, because judiciary is in the state of decay.
But some would argue that it is the politicians, the people that you find in places like the National Assembly, who are responsible for not so much the powers of the Chief Justice in particular, but the things that you mentioned at the outset, the way that cases are being handled and all kinds of dodgy things are taking place within the ambit of the bench.
Yes.
Or alleged to be taking place. And the point really is that people say that the reason why things are that way is because of political influence. So it would be a little almost unheard of, just like the way you're talking about the people who are appointed in the NJC and so on and so forth to challenge the Chief Justice. I mean, it would be like, shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, that's correct, but it just shows us to the extent to which things have changed. During the time of the military, the judiciary resisted the military.
They certainly did.
In spite of the fact that they had the barrel of the gun.
They certainly did.
But now, the judiciary is in gloves, hands and gloves, with now that's the problem. It's a conspiracy, I'm sorry to say. It's a conspiracy of the judiciary, the high echelons of the judiciary, with the politicians. That is what is happening. And it's very, very sad.
And this proposed bill of yours, you were telling us about it. It's been kicking around for a year now.
Yes, I sent it to the Senate Committee on Constitutional Review. They've been very, very busy on budget issues, so they haven't had time for it. But I'm following it up, and I hope that sooner or later there'll be a public hearing.
Right.
And I want to urge Nigerians to look at, because I believe that the son of a vulcanizer, the son of a laborer, of a farmer, has the right to aspire to the highest judicial offices in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be the son of a CJN or the son of a senior. So Nigerians are affected. So they should get in touch with their senators and put pressure on them to make sure that the judiciary, because once the judiciary has decayed, that's, as far as I'm concerned, the country is finished.
I agree. I think the problem here is that, because if you take the pulse of the Nigerian people through social media and things like that, you'll find that a lot of people agree with you.
I know.
There's no question that most people believe that there is something fundamentally wrong with the Nigerian judiciary.
Yes.
That it has moved away from the right path of rectitude, and that it is essential to try and bring it back to that right path. The problem is that most Nigerians don't have any faith in any institution in this country,
I agree.
including the politicians.
I agree.
So to say to them, go to your politicians, they just roll their eyes and say, what difference is that going to make?
They shouldn't give up. There will be changes, and there could be changes. And what needs to be done is for the leadership of the judiciary to attempt to give the people some confidence. I met the CJN about 2-3 years ago in the supermarket.
You mean the current CJN?
Yes, I met her because, she has fantastic pedigree from Lagos when she was practicing.
She does.
Upright and all that. And I told her, my Lord, I pray you become the next CJN of Nigeria. But a lot of Nigerians, including myself, were disappointed with the judiciary. I told her, we're disappointed with the judiciary, including the Supreme Court.
And what was her response?
She's a judge. She didn't say anything.
Yeah, of course.
They're always very reticent, So what I mean by that is that I'm sure they're hearing of these things. And as I said, Justice Datijo Mohammed, Nigerians need to go and read his valedictory speech. He pointed out all the issues.
Well, it was a big story when it came.
Yes, all the issues wrong with the judiciary, he pointed them out, including bribing judges. As I was going to say, for instance now, if you have an appeal from the High Court, it takes about 17-20 years for that appeal to be heard in Supreme Court. About 17-20 years. And why is that? Because, as I said before, it's a self-inflicted wound. Because of all these adjournments, not just adjournments, but the cases like the Kano Emirate case. The Kano Emirate case, it has taken 10 months for it to arrive at the Court of Appeal. It might still go to the Supreme Court. Maybe it take another year. And all that is going to be a waste of time because the Supreme Court is going to come to the conclusion that the Federal High Court has no jurisdiction. But the 2-year-old lawyer knows that. Why is the leadership of the judiciary not disciplining judges for that behavior? Why are senior advocates who file all these cases not being disciplined or fined? If you file a case like that, the court should say you're fined 25 million. This is an abuse of the process. That is why you have a lot of delays. Just before he retired, Justice Ariwola complained that they were overwhelmed with cases. And I tweeted, self-inflicted. You know,
And beyond the powers of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, which is one of the reforms you want to put in place, and the state chief judges, you're also very, I mean, as you're pointing out now, very concerned about the public reputation of the Nigerian judiciary, which you say, and many people would agree with you, is at an all-time low.
it is.
In the rationale for the amendments that you propose, you allege that court officials and judges, and you mentioned it now, are often bribed by litigants to obtain favorable judgments. I mean, that's obviously a sweeping allegation. Can you cite examples of
Well,
that?
you know, if anybody is going to pay a bribe, he's not going to call the media. But as a lawyer, I have friends who are senior advocates who've told me that this happens. And Justice Datijo Mohammed, in his valedictory speech,
Yeah, he did
mentioned
mention
it.
that, yeah.
So it's something that everybody knows that happens. And my question is this. If the justices of the Supreme Court know that it takes 17 to 20 years for cases at the High Court to arrive at their desk, and then the case that was filed last year arrived at their desk, shouldn't they be suspicious? Because the justices can know from the suit number of the case and the summary of the case when the case started. So everyone knows that millions change hands under the table to obviate delays.
Right. So is it your sense that the heads of the judiciary are unwilling or unable to confront this corruption, which is the reason that, as you put it, we continue to see, to quote your word, bizarre judgments coming from the bench?
Absolutely. I think that there is some. Your lawyers are conservative. I think that there's some unwillingness or lack of political will to address the issue. Because, as I said, Justice Datijo Ahmed, who was second in command to Justice Ariwola, mentioned it, and we all know. You ask any lawyer, they will tell you.
Right. There's one quick concept, because we've got about 2 minutes left. It's amazing how time flies, isn't it? But you raised an interesting concept in your bill proposal, which you called fabricated immunity.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, the corruption of the judiciary. There were a couple of judges who were accused of corruption, watertight cases. But the Court of Appeal brought out a technicality and said that you cannot prosecute a judge, a judicial officer, without the concurrence of the NJC. There's something like that in the Constitution. There are no precedents in it. There's no law. Global best practices non-existent. In fact, in the UK and the US, conviction for an offense is usually a reason why you now start those disciplinary proceedings. So the justices, the appellate courts, unfortunately, have invented this technical immunity for themselves. And that's one of the amendments I've made, that you don't need the concurrence of the NJC. The EFCC and the ICPC and the police should not need the concurrence of the NJC before justices and judges can be prosecuted. If not, we're going to set a bad precedent, because you also say the Police Service Commission, if you want to prosecute a police officer, you need the concurrence of the Police Service Commission. If you want to prosecute a civil servant, you need the concurrence of the Federal Civil Service Commission. It's a very bad precedent.
Indeed. And I hope you remain steadfast in what you're trying to do, because I think Nigeria will be the better for it. I want to thank
my beautiful people. We have watched this video to the end. So guys, please drop your opinion in the comment section. Let's interact together. See, the problem for me, this man, I know that Nigeria is a very corrupt country, but there's some people, some people in Nigeria, some persons, let me just say some persons in Nigeria that are still straightforward. We have watched and we have heard what this man does say, even up till extent, even accusing some judges to be collecting bribe. Like, for example, if you have money, what I really understand in Nigerian judiciary system is that when you have money, you can never lose case. That is what I have come to realize. When you have money, you can never lose case in Nigeria. Even though you are guilty or you are not guilty, as far as you have money and you have connection, you can never lose case. Even the judge itself would tell you that come and see us, come and set. They will be telling you, not that something that we are just hiding from it. Even this man, this Mr. Senator Sola Akinyede has even said it openly. You give them, Ghana must go, and it's off. I just pray. My own is that I don't know this. Every time they are appointing, are they not corrupt? Because, like for example, there's some people that you will put in the system. They are very, very straightforward. But immediately they come to the system would corrupt them. Yes, that is the only thing I have seen. The system will corrupt them. If they don't want to corrupt, they will start saying they want to impeach them. They want to take them out because of they disagree on what they agree on. So I just pray this 19 that they have appointed out of 23 members, I pray they just work. They just, according to this man, he has been fighting for 14 years, according to him. He has been fighting for Nigerian judiciary to be good. You don't even have, like for example, if God forbid bad thing, somebody have case now or have case, I don't even trust Nigeria. If I don't have money, I don't even have that confidence on Nigerian judiciary, because I know that anything can happen. If the other person have money more than me, then I will just give up. I will just say, okay, I will not even allow him to take it to court, because this is the worst, a place that this is a judiciary supposed to be, a court supposed to be a place that poor people will get justice. Yes, this is a place that people that don't have anybody to speak for supposed to get justice. That is why you see, when you have problem, it's only court that will give you that justice that you want, but not in Nigeria. Not in Nigeria at all. People don't even have confidence. If you even have problem in Nigeria, no confidence. You cannot even the only people that will tell you go to court is only people that know that they have planted their own people in that position. We saw what happened to 2023 election, where APC was just shouting, go to court, because they know that before they even started the election, they know that they have planted everybody. Okay, for example, now Wike's wife is there as a judge, as a chief, one of the judge. Then Wike will have problem. Then you take it to the wife now will judge against his husband. It's not possible now. It's not possible. We saw what happened in Rivers State, Fubara and Wike. When they went to court, we saw what happened. So, my dear people, I don't know. I just pray things work out the way. Some few persons are there that they really want Nigerians to work. But the problem with the system allowed it, with the system allowed them to fight, with the system, if the next they will start threatening them, and the next you see they will start withdraw, because everybody value his or her life. Yes. Nobody want to just buy because of one country. So only the heroes. Anyway, my beautiful people, what do you think about this thing? This new 19 appointee of 23 members of judiciary. What do you people think? Please drop your own opinion in the comment section. What this man has analyzed. I think this man has really speak very, very well. But I pray it works. That is how it is. Thank you. If you have watched this video to this time, please subscribe, share this video. My name still remains Joy, and for my returning subscribers, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate every one of you. For my new subscribers, thank you. Please, as you watch, endeavor to give this video a thumbs up. Please try to be giving the video a thumbs up as you click to watch. Give this video a thumbs up. Thumbs up is very, very it's helpful for we YouTubers. Yes, thank you very much, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye for now.